Welcome to the SV Life podcast of 2020, and thank you for clicking. My name is Erin, and for this week's episode, I have my co-host, Natalie. I'm also joined by Brooke and Alyssa. Everyone say hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Going into this podcast, do any of you have any embarrassing stories from your childhood?
I think Alyssa should go first.
I actually don't remember anything embarrassing from my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So, except for when my dad took a picture of me and I absolutely hated it. Honestly, that was it.
Okay. Brooke?
Okay, so there was this one time, I don't remember why, but I was I think 4 and I asked for a drink of water and my dad said I had to say please and then I cried.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. Erin, would you like to go?
I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay. How
That was-
about I'll go and then you regroup your thoughts. Okay. So I remember back in 4th grade, I would used to go to the park a lot, and I would take my scooter, right? And since it's concrete, they have cracks.
Mhm.
So when a soccer team came to the park to go practice, 4th grade being me, I wanted to show off my tricks, which were basically nothing, but I was gonna show how fast I can go on my scooter. And then I was going down the hill, and there's a crack at the end, right? And they're right there, right on the grass or next to the concrete. And I trip on my scooter, and you hear this big fall. So when the soccer team turned around to look at me, they said nothing. They said, "Oh, are you okay?" They just stared at me, and it was so embarrassing. That's the type of embarrassment you don't forget, and you cringe when you think about it. But I don't know. I think it was a funny story. Erin, do you have the story?
Yes. When I was in we had to wear sombreros once and dance for all the parents, and we had to do shimmy, it was all freestyle. None of us planned anything. The teacher was like, put on these sombreros, go dance, come up with anything. Okay, so today we will be talking about YouTube channels suggested by an anonymous viewer. So something I think would be important to address, do any of you have a YouTube channel?
I don't have a YouTube channel. I do not.
I don't either.
Mm-hmm.
Brooke?
I don't post anything on it.
Well, I think everybody
Of course
has
I
a
have an
YouTube
account.
channel.
Yeah, to like stuff and comment and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, then everybody has a YouTube channel, but we don't necessarily post on it. So yes, I do have a YouTube channel, but I don't post.
If you were to create some YouTube content, why would you? What would be your purpose of creating content?
Alyssa?
I guess just for the fun of it. Yeah.
What would you post, Alyssa?
I would probably make crack videos. Not the drug, but a edited version of a video to make it funnier.
Oh, remix videos, with different clips?
Yeah.
Nice. I love those videos.
Brooke, would you like to go?
I'd probably just make random things, whatever comes to my mind, I just post.
Nice.
I think the videos I would make would be vlogs or something where you kind of just film everything, and
Really?
it's not to seem to film my entire life, not everything, but to show just average stuff. I would film everything, from doing crafts to makeup and then skateboarding, just
Ooh.
vlogs, just everything.
Do you like vlogs or vloggers?
Yeah, I do like vloggers. Yeah, I do like vloggers. Okay, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. I already have a YouTube channel, and I don't have a really specific category that, I don't post this or that. I post whatever I want, random stuff. I'm not really strict of what I post. I just post whatever I want to. Okay. If you could create a new YouTuber name for yourself, what would it be?
Okay, I'll start. My YouTube channel would either be Nat Online, so Natalie, but just cut in half and you put Nat Online, or Or this is like a very like a basic one, but it's like your name, so like it's Natalie or something. Very like chic
Yeah.
and basic, but either Nat online or it's Natalie.
I would probably just use the username I use for anything, which is like the word cherish, but you change up a few letters to make it like aesthetic.
Brooke, do you have something or no? You don't have to go.
Like I do think about it a lot. Like I would try to find some creative way to change up my name, but I can't think of anything. So
Okay.
This doesn't have to be generally around YouTube. You could just answer this in general. Are you are you more of a watcher or a creator, and why?
Alyssa?
I think I would probably be more of a creator since I like making things more and instead of like just watching someone do it. So,
Yeah.
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 Brooke?
I'm definitely more of a watcher. I don't usually create things, and I'm not really that. I'm kind of creative, but I'm not really creative. So
That makes sense.
I almost always just watch things and not make anything.
Fair.
I think I'm more of a watcher, and I think watching's fine, but like, what I'm scared
Yeah, no.
about if I were to be a creator, I feel like people now in social media tend to like bring out scandals in people. So like, I feel like I would have a scandal, but like, there's nothing like bad about me to scandal about. But like, I would be afraid of like someone would make up a rumor and like potentially ruin my life.
That makes sense. That
Kind of spooky, but I think I would just be a watcher.
I'm more of a creator because I like creating stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
And more like the personal experience rather than watching somebody else have it, you know, so I can get a feel for it myself. Okay, last question. What do you think the fun part of being a YouTuber is?
Alyssa?
I think the best part of being a YouTuber is probably the positive feedback you would get in
Oh,
like the
yeah.
comment section.
Rick?
The best part is probably being able to like make your friends and fans happy.
Yeah.
Really sweet.
And I think the fun part would probably be like making a difference in people's lives, because like I know creators have made a difference in like my life, and like
Yes, definitely.
yeah, because like
Influencers and stuff.
creators like still like watching like social media can like give you an escape on like your reality and like whatever you're going through, especially like right now. Like it can be really boring and like lonely, but like when you watch YouTubers, like it can bring your life like some color, and it's like
Yeah,
not to be depressing or anything, but like they can like I think like being a YouTuber, the fun part is like knowing you can have a positive impact on your fans.
yeah, I agree with you. I think being like the fun part of being a YouTuber is getting to send a positive message out to people and
Yeah.
getting to smile more, you know?
And like it doesn't need to be like a life-changing video. It can be
Yeah,
like a little comedy video that you like made
yeah,
in 5 minutes, or like or especially just like talking in front of the camera, like mukbangs. Like it's honestly those are so entertaining. Like
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, Placeman, and that concludes this week's episode. If you want to suggest some topics or questions for other future podcasts, click on the form in the description. Make sure to subscribe and like for more. We'll see you next time. Hope you all have a good day.
Bye.
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 Bye.